Once Upon a Time by Helena Osinski of Fairfield West, 2165. Narrated by Janine Penfold. The light was gleaming through the curtains as I rolled out of bed, only to face a mirage of mirrors revealing my grey hair and the waves of wrinkles on my face. Oh, yes, I have put on weight. The shapely silhouette that once was has been lost with time. I slowly head to the kitchen for a cuppa. A few more jiggles and my tea bag will have released its flavour. Gone are the days of tea leaves and swirling the teapot around and around. Sitting down, I turn on the TV. Not the little box of my childhood with its black and white screen. Colour radiates from this gigantic entity as the room vibrates with its sound. Not the only piece of technology to make its introduction to me. Video cameras were now on the scene, and my first exposure was at a friend's barbecue. We had been recording all the happenings of the day and rushed inside with excitement to watch. All we could say was, "This has just happened, and here we are watching it." Acting like children, we kept rewinding and reliving the whole afternoon. Unlike Super 8 movie film, we didn't have to send the reel away to Kodak and wait 2 weeks for its return. My handbag is ringing. Hubby is on the phone. Wish my dad was still around to use a mobile phone. He had such a fascination for all new devices and would have loved playing with all the apps. I have finished the shopping. Would you like me to bring home a kebab or pizza for lunch? The latest additions to our lunchtime menu, thanks to the many nationalities that live in the area. While I'm at it, should I also get dinner? How about a chook and coleslaw? Great. That means no cooking tonight. The microwave and air fryer can have a rest. Gone are the days of spending hours preparing the evening meal when a phone call or Uber sees a meal arrive at your door. The trusty old fish and chips wrapped in newspaper is no longer my only option. Heading back to my comfy chair for a nana nap, I pass a photo of me taken at school just before I started work. Nodding, I think about the 1960s. There wasn't a huge choice for women. The majority worked in administration or nursing. Only a few went to university. Nursing was my initial career choice, except Mum wouldn't let me leave home to live in the nurses' quarters. So, off to secretarial college I went. My first job was in a Sydney solicitor's office, which specialised in divorce. I was young and naive, so protected I had to be. The office was full of explicit photos taken by an investigation agency, whose aim it was to catch couples in compromising positions and not with their spouse. Curiosity had the better of me. If only I could see these photos. However, they were securely locked away. Adultery was the simplest and quickest way for a divorce in the 1960s. How sentiments have changed on the marriage scene. Society is also more accepting of unmarried mothers and same-sex partners. Young ladies are no longer sheltered from society and locked away in unmarried mothers' homes with their babies given up for adoption. I clearly remember the girls in my class sniggering at pregnant Susan, who was being sent to Waitara Girls' Home. This stigma has subsided with time, and women can now freely raise their baby and people of the same sex may marry. We live in an era of continual change. My mind starts to drift back to my working days. Following the solicitors, I obtained employment in a large government organisation. Thankfully, legislation had been introduced in 1977, and women started to receive long overdue equal rights. Thinking of my sister, who worked in the banking sector, I didn't have to resign when I married. Consequently, during my employment, I supported and became involved in women's rights and found myself on numerous spokeswomen's committees advocating for equality in the workplace. Many men in the office viewed these meetings with contempt, having been told, I should be barefoot, pregnant, and in the kitchen. Although in many aspects a woman's life has improved, there are still many issues that need to be resolved. The struggle goes on. With my first baby on the way, I was granted maternity leave, one of the first women in my organisation to receive this entitlement. All went well until delivery, when complications set in. No time for a caesarean, I heard my doctor say. Just get the baby out. Thanks to modern science, we both survived, unlike so many mothers and babies in the past who didn't. Men were left without wives and children without mothers. The humidicrib, ultrasound, and advancements in midwifery have saved many lives. Time to return to work. Although extremely expensive, childcare was available. No need to put pressure on the grandparents. I felt blessed my child would be looked after. I did not have to feel too guilty about returning to work, particularly as it was part-time. Maybe I should have stayed at home longer with my child. However, computers had recently been introduced into my workplace. What on earth was I to do with this screen and keyboard? Gone were the days of telegrams and telex machines. Emails and SMSs were now the go. No more paper files. Information was stored on something that was called a hard drive. I awake from my reminiscent nod as keys can be heard in the door. Hubby must have finished the shopping. Time for lunch. It does me good to think of the past and be grateful for the future, whatever it holds for me and humanity. We certainly live in a constantly changing world. What was then and what is now and what will be, who knows? The end.